Like I listen to a lot of Ailstorm. I've watched them in concert so many times. I've driven so far just to see them in concert. I'll I'll just kind of go along with that. I'll be a heavy metal pirate. That sounds good. I'll have like spikes and stuff on me just to really kind of hone it in. I'll have some like skulls and a lot of different parts of my design just to kind of hide it in there. But that was it. Even like as far as like the voice goes, I didn't even do a pirate voice for so long. I don't know. I wish I knew when the pirate voice came in, when I started doing the pirate voice, because like I just randomly started it one day and I was like, all right, I'll just do a pirate voice. And it's kind of evolved since then. Like I get like an accent in there every now and then. I don't know why. I don't have an accent.
What was that
And
derived from anybody? Did you try to copy like a Jeffrey Rush? Did you William
no,
Teach from Assassin's Creed Black Flag?
yeah,
Like
not that I know of. I think like in general, just pirate voice is just a gruff
mm,
sound to it.
yeah.
And whether you have like a bit of an accent in it,
Hmm.
then others will have that. But I mean, just having the gruff sound, whether you have the gruff look or not, because I don't have facial hair,
Mm.
then that's the classic pirate sound. And because uh I'm heavy metal pirate and I like to scream in my car a lot, I can do that. I can do that rasp without it destroying my throat, which is very nice. Like people are always just like, "Oh, how do you do that voice for so long?" Like I did a 24-hour stream and had the voice going for 24 hours. Like it doesn't destroy my throat. It's just kind of in the back of my mouth, and so it's nice. It's a nice place that I can that like my voice can sit in for a long time, and so that's kind of just like how that developed. It was just I'm not I might have taken inspiration from a lot of things, but not actively. I'd say it was just kind of all right. This is where the rasp feels comfortable for long periods of time. This is what the voice will be.
Um, how much do you? I'm assuming you put a good bit of lore into yourself. Um, how much of it do you base off of like actual piratism from like the 1500s till they probably ended around the 1700s?
Yeah, exactly. The golden age of piracy was like the 1700s or so. Um, but I don't really have much lore because I didn't know much about VTubing in general. I
Mm.
don't and because I don't like watch like animes, like I feel like a lot of people that have a lot of lore and like stories and stuff base it because they have all those like well-driven stories that they've seen in animes and stuff like that. But for me, I was just like me pirate man, me going to do this. And when I first started as a PNG, I drew my own PNG and it was my first time doing like any digital art and stuff. And so I've always done like traditional and just pen and pencil or whatever. Um but like I've always done black and white. And so like skin tone I didn't know how to do very well. And so I was just like, uh, th- uh, I'm pink now. I'm gonna, that's, I don't know how to draw skin tone. And so I'm gonna make myself pink. Um, I'll say that I'm undead and that's why I'm pink. Because I'm from the original golden age of piracy. So I'm 300 years old now. Uh, and that's why I'm pink. It's not because I don't know how to draw skin tones or anything. I swear, it's because I am undead.
um,
Haha.
I noticed you didn't go the whole like hook hand or peg leg. I and that's just the common like thing. Like for me, I'm an alien, right? So
Yeah.
like people are like, why don't you ever have like a spaceship or something, or like walk around
Mhm.
with like a blaster or wear like a suit or something like that? And I'm like, I'm American. I'm trying to I'm trying to fit in over here. Leave me alone.
Yeah, exactly. And like I would say like for both of us, if that's what they expect you to be, why would you want to be that? Like if they expect me to have an eye patch and beard and hook hand and peg leg, like I don't want to like meet your expectations. I want to just surpass those expectations, be something else. It's a
I've told every person that's ever asked me about crop circles or probing. I'm like, that's just sick stuff that you guys made up. Like, like you guys are blaming us for stuff that you guys made up. We had
exactly like
nothing to
yeah,
do
like
with
if
that.
you want to be probed, just say it. There's a difference. Like that's what you guys are into.
The,
So
the realism of pirating is just, you know, a crew of criminals who managed to commandeer a ship because they had, you know, sea legs. I guess that would be the term. Like they knew
yeah.
how to, you know, control a ship, and they would basically weaponize the ship over time and steal goods off of other ships or places and
Yeah.
sell it on the black market, which apparently is older than most people expect it to be.
Oh yeah. And it like even with like a lot of the classic pirate tropes, I guess, with like a hook hand or peg leg or whatever, that's because they lost it. Like it wasn't like their choice. They're not just like, oh, I want to look cool. I want to have a badass hook hand. It's like, no, they lost a fight. And then in order to to be able to function, they needed to put on a peg leg or put
Right.
on a hook hand. And it's like, I don't want like then I've got to come up with a story of, oh, how did you lose your arm? How'd you lose your leg? And it's like I don't want to be known as the pirate that lost a battle. Like I want to to be the captain that has all of his appendages still. Like
Well, you do have some right eye damage.
yes, I haven't figured out a story for it, but that doesn't mean that I died to it. It's just
Mm.
just a little slash.
Well, do we want to make some more right now?
We could. My thought, like because I want to like eventually maybe have like a lore video, but I gotta like come up with something. Like my signature weapon is just a cutlass. I don't use like the whole blunderbuss and pistol and combo and stuff like that. It's just a cutlass because that seems like the badass way to fight. Like I don't want to be standing there reloading some black powder. I'd rather just have my sword and be able to use it.
Well,
Um, and
there's
so
nothing more metal than like you fighting like a jaguar or a panther, like in either like Florida in the 1600s or South America or something like that. Like, and you won, but it got you like one time.
yeah, exactly, exactly. And the fact that it's the issue is that it's only one slash, and so it's like it's a little hard to say like, oh yeah, it was a panther strike because they that's like a three slash kind of thing.
Right.
But definitely, I already know that I'm just like okay, whatever story I come up with, it will be like I just got grazed. It wasn't like a that's how I died kind of thing.
Mm.
Like I want it. I haven't like again, I haven't come up with much lore, so it's like I want my my original death before I came back to be like not losing a battle kind of death. It's a very like Dwayne the Rock Johnson or like
Yeah,
like
you're
that kind of thing where it's like I don't want to be.
refusing to lose, even if it was like a kraken and you got Jack Sparrowed.
Yeah, exactly. Like so that's like a different thing. It's like I'm fine with dying to like other like creatures and stuff. It's to another person that has like that can theoretically have the same ability as me and
Mm.
I was just worse. That's what I don't want. Like I don't want another pirate to have killed me, another captain to have killed me. I don't want to have gone out in battle just versus another ship. It has to be like, oh yeah, it's this absolute behemoth of a beast that took out the whole crew and ship or something. Like I'm not gonna get outskilled. I'm just gonna be like outgunned because they're simply something that I can't reach, like an otherworldly thing, essentially.
What is your SS? Well, like the name of your ship?
It is the Maiden of Metal.
The Maiden of Metal. The
Yes.
ships have so much cool names. Queen Anne's Revenge. The Flying Dutchman.
Yeah,
um,
exactly.
um, have you ever heard of the USS, or not the USS, the SS Essex?
Oh, it sounds familiar. The Essex definitely sounds familiar, but I don't know much
All right, so
about it.
it was a whale ship off the coast of Panama in the Pacific Ocean in the, I want to say, early 1800s.
Hmm.
Now you have to remember at this time we're still using like torches to light streets back then
Yeah.
and heat
Oh yeah.
homes.
Oh yeah.
And they used whale oil for that.
Yep.
We actually used whale oil up until like 1960. So we were killing whales for their oil
Oh yeah.
for a long time. So this ship of people looking for whales on the coast of Panama, they run into, well, they go to this place that they thought like people have told them about it, like other whaling ships, and they're like, "Yo,
Hmm.
don't go there." But they decided to go there, and they ran into a crew of very defensive sperm whales.
Oh
Um,
wow.
and I don't know if you know a lot about sperm whales.
A little bit, but I do know that they defensive sperm whale something you don't really want to mess with.
So if you're underwater and a sperm whale screams, you'll die. Like the decibel level of the noise uh
Hmm.
underwater is like so high that like it would crack your eardrums to the point where your skull would fracture into your brain and kill you.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I know that people are always just like, oh yeah, like hopefully I'm not in the water when there's a submarine passing by, because if they use their sonar, it will just immediately annihilate your entire body.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, you will fry.
yeah,
I mean, your body will just like be okay, but like everything inside you will just like shut
yeah,
off. Um,
exactly. It'll just become jelly.
so anyways, this Essex, they run into these sperm whales, and one of the sperm whales fucking destroys their whole ship, leaving them shipwrecked on islands out there, probably the Galapagos. I don't know what the islands were that they managed to. They're uncharted or something like that by now,
Yeah, yeah.
and they had to resort to eating each other to live.
Jesus, Jesus.
And whether you've put two and two together and connected this, this is the story of Moby Dick.
I didn't put that together. I didn't know that.
Now,
That's all.
so the guy who wrote Moby Dick sought out the people that survived the Essex and got the story and profited off of it, off their PTSD.
Oh wow, that's crazy. It makes it curious. Like, I wonder the if the eating each other was like actual like
Or the fact that
how,
a giant football field sized sea monster destroyed their ship.
yeah, exactly. But I also wonder like if it was organized. As weird as that is, like I wonder if they were just like, all right, man, like you're obviously the weakest, you're doing the worst, we're gonna have to eat you, or if it was just like survival of the fittest, whoever killed the other and then ate them was was the winner.
they have
It's
a
very
they have a movie
interesting.
about it with Chris Hemsworth called In the Heart of the Sea.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know who made the movie. It might have been Ridley Scott, good director. I'm a movie buff. I'm an actor, so I know so
Awesome.
much useless information about stuff.
Yeah, no, I know nothing about movies, and so it's unfortunate.
um, let's see here. Now, being a pirate as you are,
Yes.
um, I'm not gonna like connect the whole. There's only a couple pirate games out there, but what's the best pirate game?
So I really haven't. I've only played Sea of Thieves, and
Okay.
like I haven't played Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I know, guys. I know. Sue me already. Like I played like Brotherhood and then like one more after Brotherhood or something, and that's like the only Assassin's Creed that I played. But I played so much Brotherhood, and then the next one was so shit compared to it that I was like, nope, I'm done with Assassin's Creed for now. Like, and so that was literally it. Everyone's just like, oh, but Black Flag is entirely different. I was like, I know it's entirely different. I don't want it to be different. I want Brotherhood again. Okay, I miss it.
I love how chat just was like, wait, what?
Yeah, it's always like that. Same with like for the longest time, I never played Sea of Thieves on stream, and I need to again. But like everyone, always when I would like start playing or whatever, or if people wanted to play games with me, they just be like, "Oh, you wanna play Sea of Thieves since you're a pirate?" And I'm just like, I can't. I told myself I would save it for my debut, but I haven't debuted yet, and so I can't play Sea of Thieves, and so it's just been a long time, and it's just every single time it was just like, "Oh, you must be a fake pirate then. You don't play Sea of Thieves. You haven't played Black Flag. What are you even doing then?" I'm just like, I play Gangplank in League of Legends sometimes. I That's a little pirate, I guess. But
They have that new Ubisoft game, Skull and Bones,
oh yeah, I heard about that.
which just makes me think of George Bush for some reason.
Why is that?
He was in that whole what are they called when you have like a fraternity,
Mhm.
secret organization in a college up in Yale, and theirs was called the Skull and Bones.
I I had
Friendship
no
ain't about
idea
trust.
about that. Like I
Friendship
think of
is
George
about
Bush and I only think of the
non-trust.
jet fuel meme, and that's it. I
Thank you for the follow.
That's great.
Who else followed earlier? Kuya. Also, Kuya, thank you for the follow. Um, I I don't know. I mean, Sea of Thieves has a new DLC coming out. Um, and I saw the trailer for it, and it looked really goofy. But
Yeah, they're always goofy at this point.
well, it's made by Rare.
Yeah, I know people like I remember when I first started playing Sea of Thieves and I saw that Rare logo, I was just like, no way. This is my Banjo Kazooie
Right.
creators. I was like, it sent me back immediately to my childhood, just playing Banjo Kazooie and Banjo Tooie on the Nintendo 64, and I was just like, oh my gosh, there's still a thing.
It's the people who made COD before COD was out. It was called GoldenEye.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. I forgot like the golden eye for the Nintendo 64 if you were playing the multiplayer and someone picked the little short guy.
Yeah.
God, that was like grounds for just beating the shit out of you. Like if you had to like actively go into like press the R button and then aim your gun down because the person was too short for the game that wasn't designed to look up and down, just left and right. Uh, God, that how dare you pick that short motherfucker?
There there is modes on there where you could just get weapons that make it easy for you, like proximity mines. Like you can't get away
Mhm.
from that, and rocket
Yeah,
launchers. But
yeah,
regular
exactly.
guns, you're right. Regular guns, you're not going to be able to. Or you could
Nope,
just
exactly.
do chops. You could just chop at each other.
Yeah. That was always the worst thing when you just pick a tall guy and then this short little guy comes running at you and is chopping you from below you, and you're just like, no, please let me like aim down and get you. Please stop this. Like that was the worst of all goddamn time.
there there actually isn't too many alien games that I like. Destroy all humans, but
Yeah.
there isn't too many alien games that I like coincide with. Like Alien Isolation, no.
Yeah, it's not. It's a different kind of alien. It's not like the the classic one that you have the look of.
Thank you for the hydrate, by the way. Let's see. Assassin's Creed 3 was shit. I don't blame Ryan. Assassin's Creed 3 was shit because the story that you followed for 3 games straight, they decided to put an end to it, and they did it in the most sloppy way possible. And I don't know why they did it that way.
Yeah, once they started having like the oh yeah, you're like in the Matrix and stuff and like going back to your ancestors and everything. I was just like what? I just I just want to kill people. I don't want this. I don't want politics in my killing game.
I don't know when I'm gonna play Grey Hill Incident. Once it gets cheaper, because it's still $30, I think. I heard it's really bad.
That's the best feeling when people are just like you have to play this game. It's so bad. And it's like, please, it's still $30 no matter how bad it is. I don't want to spend this much money at a shit time.
He says his ass cheeks have more personality than Connor. And since we're on the topic of personality with main characters, what's a game that people like that you've played that you couldn't get behind the protagonist because of how shitty he was? I'll give you my example right off the bat. It's Ghost of
Yeah.
Tsushima. The main character, Jin. The game's beautiful. The story is awesome. But that main character, I wanted him to die at the end of that. Fuck that. He was just kind of just boring and dull, and he was a samurai meth head James Bond, how he can manage to get himself out of bad situations all the time. And it was just like,
Yeah.
I see why you made this character. I bet there's an audience for him. He just wasn't for me.
Yeah, exactly. And I think like for me, like I haven't really touched the new Star Wars games, I'd say. Like the story driven ones, not like Battlefront. I touched that one. I haven't really touched it, but I got it and I like watched it a fair amount. And honestly, I couldn't get behind that one. As weird as it is, people loved those games, but
The Shameless
I
Kid?
was yeah, I forget the name just of the just that yeah, that kid
Yeah.
essentially. I couldn't get really behind it. It just I guess because of all the Star Wars games that I'd played in the past, it felt so lackluster to me. So like playing like the Force Unleashed and stuff, and like sure, like they like sometimes they say parts are canon, sometimes they say it's not. But just as a game, as a main character, it felt badass. Like it felt like you were like you had that power. And like even like playing like Knights of the Old Republic and all those other games, like it felt powerful instead of just like I'm gonna solve some puzzles now as this all powerful being. Like I'm just gonna like do some like jumping puzzles and stuff. And it's like I don't this doesn't this feels lackluster to me. And so I haven't really touched them at all.
Hmm. I'm trying to think of any other ones where like the main character kind of just sucks, but everybody around him's amazing. I will say there's a couple Grand Theft Auto games that are like that. Like to me, you cannot surpass Tommy Vercetti from Vice City. Like of like top tier main character. I will say
Yeah.
that Trevor's one of the best characters that Rockstar's ever written.
Oh
Period.
yeah, absolutely.
Uh,
Absolutely.
um, Last year I played Red Dead Redemption 2,
Mhm.
and have you played the game? Have you seen the game?
I've seen it. I haven't played it though. It's just too much for me.
All right. So the game's been out forever, so these are spoilers, but whatever,
Yeah, who
it's
cares?
your fault for not playing it. So you play as Arthur Morgan, and eventually you have a choice of dying of tuberculosis, getting stabbed, or getting shot, and that you die 3 times. There's just no way of getting around it.
Great.
And the moment that you die in that game, and this is from my take, I wanted to put the game down, uninstall it because
Mhm.
it just took it out of me. And I don't know if they planned to do that or if they didn't mean to do that or if they just wanted to make like a good movie style kind of video game. But I will never play that game again, ever.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of games that are like that where it's just like you play it once and that's it. It's not like, "Oh, this was the most phenomenal game of my life. I want to stay away from it for a while so that I can play it again." Like it there's not that many that have been made nowadays, I would say.
That have the replay value.
Yeah, and not even necessarily like like replay value, like just gameplay wise, but like story wise. Like you
Mm,
want there's some games that like I like Portal, for example, Portal 2 rather.
okay.
Um I played that so much like a long time ago. I would play the multiplayer, I would go online, I would play the story a whole bunch of times, and I loved it every single time. Every single time I knew it, and then I would just play every single one. I was like maybe like one achievement short of a platinum trophy on PlayStation for it. Um and like I still to this day like try staying away from people streaming Portal 2 because it's like that's the game that I want to forget so that I can relive that experience with someone, like play Portal 2 with someone else and not just be like, "Oh yeah, I remember this puzzle. Oh, I remember this. I remember this," and just go through and it not be the same. Like I want to have that challenge again, but still have the story, still have GLaDOS telling the two robots to like what they're doing, pretending like they're helping it, like save humanity and stuff like that. Like just everything. I want that again, and I haven't felt a game like that in a long time that I want to do that.
So you got like a hot subscription of Cave Johnson's Lemons.
Absolutely. Oh my
Robots
goodness.
in disguise. Oh, hi, Mark.
Hi, Mark. Did
Ah,
not I did not.
so let's go into some stuff here that I always have like a list made. So if you get thrown questions at me, it's all predetermined.
Yes, of course, of course.
It's just basically what I could pick out of to kind of like spread apart of who I'm talking to, like see
Yeah.
how what we have in common and such like that.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm assuming you're a cartoon and anime fan. Um, that's off of assumption. Um,
I haven't watched like I think I've watched 3 animes ever,
ever?
and it was the like the original Pokemon. I
Okay.
watched Yu-Gi-Oh up until I think it was 5D whenever they started doing the whole motorcycle thing,
Oh
and
wow, that's
like that was
You're way farther than me, buddy.
yeah, yeah, but that was when I stopped. Like I was so into it. I was like, "Oh my god, yeah. Giant Stone Soldier stabbing the moon to beat Mako Tsunami? Fuck yeah. That's my shit." Like sure that doesn't happen in the actual card game, but I don't give a fuck. He just stabbed the fucking moon with a giant stone sword. That's badass. Now all his fish are dried up. Get fucked, idiot. Like like that was my shit. And then like after that I just stopped watching everything. It was just like, oh well, I as much as I know that I would love anime and other cartoons, I just didn't I would get too into it. And I was just like, I can't like let myself like be distracted, I would say. Because
I,
it would detract from my schoolwork, from whether it was in high school or college. I was like, I know that I would like it too much. And so I just never watched it.
I'm more into cartoons than I am anime. I do watch a lot of anime, but like a lot of stuff that people are like, "Oh, this is amazing." I watch it and I'm like, "I see why you thought it was amazing. It just isn't my cup of tea."
Yeah.
Um, like Attack on Titan, can't get into it, no matter how much I try. I don't. There's a lot of emotion in that show. Not for
Hmm.
me. It's not for me. Don't
Yeah,
care.
that makes sense.
But I'm more cartoons. Like I, I'm the Adventure Time, South Park,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
Solar Opposites, Archer. They made
Yeah, I liked Archer too.
The
That was
Amazing
really
World
good.
of Gumball. um,
Oh my gosh, yeah, like regular show and stuff.
I like a lot of the
Uh,
legendary shows, the Courage the Cowardly Dog, Ed, Ed and Eddie,
yeah,
Invader
yeah,
Zim,
exactly. Oh, those are classics, truly.
SpongeBob SquarePants.
I liked like Ren and Stimpy and stuff back in the day. Like that was I was too young to be watching Ren and Stimpy for sure. The more that I see like clips of it pop up nowadays, and they're just like they let this through for a kids show, and it's like it wasn't a kids show.
Yeah,
That was an adult's cartoon. They
eh,
just so happened to stream on a kids channel. Like
right.
it was, but there's just yeah. I feel yeah. I definitely like cartoons a lot more.
Early '90s Nickelodeon. They have a documentary about it on Hulu. which I watched it and it got me all in the feels because then it made me realize that I'm old and I'm gonna die soon. But but
That's the worst feeling.
I loved watching that because it showed all the old shows on there, and Ren and Stimpy was one of the first 3 cartoons on there.
Yep. That was just like that era of cartoons was just so unique, and just like with like real monsters and stuff, and like they just were pushing the boundaries of what they could do. They were just like, this is a cartoon, it's not real, we can do what we want with it. They didn't have any like cookie cutter things that they were sticking to, I'd say, with that a lot of cartoons do nowadays. They have like their cookie cutter kind of like storylines that they follow, and like they're still good, like there's still different just animation styles that are phenomenal, but it was a interesting time, I would say.
It probably is to blame for a lot of expectations in the millennial Gen Z kind of like culture.
Hmm.
Because they grow up watching this stuff, they're never going to experience it on the outside. Like they probably get raised watching these things or playing these things, and then they become an adult, and then they realize, oh shit, this is awful.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, like
and
it's definitely part of that, but
I feel like a lot of shows I watched growing up, if anything, they taught me not like morals, but how to avoid mistakes. Because I'm
yeah.
like, oh yeah, I watched that.
Yeah, exactly. Like they had lessons that were kind of built in,
Yeah,
not like
and they were vague.
yeah, exactly. It was
Mm,
vague. It was just kind of built in. It was just kind of driven by the story. You were just like, oh yeah, this is what's happening. Like with like Scooby Doo or whatever. It's just like, oh yeah, like sometimes the monsters are like who you trust the most or whatever, like
yeah,
who you like least expect it,
90,
and like you don't they don't
90
say that.
95% of the time we're the monsters. People are.
Yeah, exactly. And like they don't have to explicitly say that. I feel like a lot of the new cartoons nowadays, they like sit down and like look at the camera and just be like, "Remember, kids, like this is the lesson of the day." And it's just like I don't like I should get that from the show. Like you shouldn't have to tell me that to get it, which I don't it's kind of weird. Maybe they didn't realize that they were doing that back in the day, but I agree with you. I would learn from them without even really realizing it.
I thought SpongeBob did a good job of cursing with the dolphin episode,
Hmm.
dolphin sound
Oh yeah,
episode.
oh yeah, that was
Um,
immediately what I thought of.
I don't know if you saw Adventure Time, but there's an episode. They have a worm character, right?
Mhm.
And there's this little elephant character that gets all upset and crying because she sees the statue, and this little worm is on this guy's fist, right where the middle finger is. And the way that they showed you like what went wrong in that episode
Mhm.
is actually kind of hilarious. Like, and I'm like, oh, this is for kids, but they definitely just showed kids how to flip people off, and
Yeah, exactly.
they didn't even say it was wrong.
Yeah, there's so many things even with that is that like they don't like they don't make it a big deal. Like the adults, the parents with their kids are just like, this is hilarious, but the kids aren't going to be like, look at I remember the worm doing this, I'm gonna do the worm. Like it's not
Yeah,
like a they're gonna catch on kind of thing.
I feel like I was also corrupted from the start because I grew up with WWF, like Keone.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
DX, Suck It.
Oh, oh my God, the sweet chin music.
Stone Cold Steve Austin flipping people off. The Rock putting stuff up your candy ass.
Absolutely, the original John Cena saying just the most offensive things of all goddamn time.
Right.
Just
So
like, oh my gosh.
whether I liked it or not, I was corrupted already. And thank God that I never stayed a wrestling fan. I do pay attention from time to time because it got way out of hand eventually, and I just
Yeah,
didn't care
yeah,
anymore.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
but I look back at the whole childhood part of it, and I'm like, I watched all that. And
Yeah,
there's a lot of my
yeah.
character in there.
Yeah, I see people like share clips of just like, "Oh yeah, this is what they used to be back in the day and stuff like that." And I was just like, I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh god, I would this is what I was watching. Oh my god. I was like I remember so stoically trying to argue with my mom one time as a kid just being like, "No, mom, this is real." Like they straight up like they put his leg in the chair and they like straight up broke it. His
Nah.
leg is like broken now. My mom's just like, "Uh-huh. Yep. That's not real. You know that, right?" I'm just like, "No, it is. I saw it. They did it. Like there was like blood and everything." I remember that argument so much.
Um, I had a cool grandmother who used to watch. She made me watch WCW because she wouldn't watch WWF,
Mhm.
and she explained it all to me about how wrestling's fake and such like that. And she's like, "But I'm still a huge fan, and you know why?" And I'm like, "Why?" And she's like, "Because it's better than the news."
Very true. And it's
Every
funny because like it would still give you current events.
right.
Like and it's just like, huh? Why is why is wrestling telling me that the tower has been hit or something? It's like
Right.
it's very bizarre.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, John Cena stopped mid show to say, "We caught Osama bin Laden." And I'm like,
Yeah.
Why is that being told?"
Exactly. Like he just stopped the show, told everyone like, guys, this important announcement at whatever time o'clock, Navy SEALs like stormed the compound and we got Osama bin Laden. It's like, huh? But like fuck yeah, this is the most American thing with just the American wrestling and everything like that. This is it, baby. We got him. Like this is like that gets your heart pumping. Like it's a weird way to tell current events, but like, oh my god, this whoa.
they uh they know their audience. And I feel like, because this is a segue, obviously, the best part about being a streamer is you don't know your audience. You learn about your audience eventually. You find out what your audience likes.
Yeah.
And I've been here almost a year doing this VTubing stuff, and so far, I have no idea what my audience wants out of me.
Sometimes like that's just what it is. Like even for me, like I'm the same way where it's just like, okay, I know what they don't want. They don't want like League of Legends. Makes sense. I don't want League of Legends, so I'll try to stay away from it. Like I know like when I got my stream review or whatever, then it was just like, oh yeah, you were in the top 1% of League of Legends streamers, and I was just like,
Oh no.
that's not good. I should not have streamed that much League of Legends. Oh god. But like it's there I still don't know. Like a lot of times it's just like, "Oh, do you guys just want to talk? Is that it? Like do you guys just want to shit post with me for an hour or whatever?" Cuz when I play a game, then it's just like, "Oh, game time. Great." Like it's I still don't know. Even after a year, it's so hard to tell what people want.
I get the aspect of playing with chat. Like, I've been playing Fortnite lately, and I'm not a Fortnite player by any
Mhm.
means, but it's free, and chat
Yeah.
wants to play with you, and that's a good back and forth interaction. And I could
Yeah.
see the same for League of Legends. I could see the same for Dead by Daylight, um, even
Oh,
Call of
Dead,
Duty.
Dead by Daylight. I touched that game like once. It was so bad. I that's like one of my most hated games. Genuinely, I don't know why.
I
It's just
I
so
I
bad.
see the aesthetic. I've watched a lot of it, but I've never streamed it, and I've only played it once with my ex girlfriend. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly. It's never been fun. And like the thing is, like for me, when I played it, obviously we're going on a tangent again. But when I played it, it was like with four other people or whatever. So we had four survivors and a killer, and we would swap out. But like when you play the custom games, you have access to all of the perks. And I was still just like, this feels so futile sometimes, despite having all of the best possible perks. And if I were to actually play this, I wouldn't have all the best possible perks. I would have to keep playing without them in hopes of hitting them as I played, just for it to still feel futile with the best possible perks and stuff. And I was just like, I don't see this game being for me. I love the aesthetic and all the killers and stuff like that, but that just feels so just angering.
You you just described phasmophobia. Oh, I have to play this game a bunch of times so I could get money to buy the tools to find the ghost. And even if I have the tools, I'll still probably get killed by the ghost. And then I have to rely on my teammates who might not have as much money or didn't buy the same stuff. And we're not going to
Yeah,
find out what the ghost was.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And like, there's just two people of that, two Phasmo players. There's the kind that just goes in, just like, all right, whatever. I don't really have anything. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just here for a good time and maybe some scares. And then there's the people that play too much goddamn Phasmophobia and are just like, oh, I know exactly this layout. I know exactly where the possible haunted objects can spawn. There's only three like set locations, so we're gonna find this. Okay, I found the music box. We'll play it here, and all right, it's done. And you're before you even pick up your devices, they're like, all right, it's a whatever kind of ghost, it's a
Yeah.
yokai or whatever. And it's
Ban-
like the huh? What? We didn't get to play the game. What do you mean?
And I guess that might be a problem with like I want to consider it sandbox because sandbox is like you could continue picking up where you left off and keep going like State of Decay, and that's a
Mhm.
sandbox game. What's another sandbox game? Is Stalker a sandbox game?
I don't know.
Does Stalker have a story?
I maybe like grounded, kind of.
Hmm. See, I'm more. I don't know. My aesthetic is more of the story, like Half Life.
Mhm,
I think Half Life Alex is probably one of the coolest games I've ever seen,
mhm.
story wise, especially.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and then you got your Elden Ring. Like I said, like people don't think that there's a story there, but I'm like they gave you it right in the beginning, and
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
George R. Martin who wrote that part.
yeah.
He wrote the family. He wrote the night of the Black Knives, where the assassins came and attempted to kill America.
Mhm.
All that shtick,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
most people don't know about that stuff or care, and they run into Black Knife assassins, and they're like, "Why are these people so special?" and stuff like that. I'm like,
Yeah,
"They gave you that already." um,
yeah.
I think that like if I had to write a game, I would write it like that. I want to
Mhm.
write a game where it's like here's an example. Take Phasmophobia,
Yeah,
make it more like Mortuary's Assistant.
yeah. I could see that. And the good thing about the good thing about Phasmophobia, I guess, was that it was the first of its kind
Right,
like that,
right.
and that's why it was great. Um, but like it rapidly kind of like just got old because they didn't change anything.
Stalker does have a story, Keone believes. I don't know because every time I watch somebody play that, they're either playing like crowd control, where somebody completely ruins like their whole gameplay,
Yeah,
or they're playing something where it's just basically like looting and getting to a location. And I'm
yeah.
like, is this a Tarkov kind of game? I don't know.
Yeah, so sometimes some games you're just like, I don't quite know what's going on here.
But I try to sense why people like the whatever that they're pushing into. There's some games I just can't.
Hmm.
Um, and hi Daedric, by the way. Um, like Jump King,
Yeah, I
I can't do it.
I
Eh,
stay far away from the rage games. I myself have like struggled with anger for many years, and like I am calm now, But with games like that, I like my desk will tremble for
Yeah,
sure. Like if I fell off, I will be slamming my shit. And like while it's hilarious,
for other
it's just
people.
like yeah, exactly. It's hilarious for other people. For me, I'm just like my blood pressure's too high. I don't want to break my mouse on accident. I don't want to do that. Like for my own sanity, I avoid those kind of games. And like that's why even like even just the Elden Ring, I was like scared. I was like, I know that Souls likes are difficult, and like I don't know how I'm going to react to it. I don't know if I'm gonna be absolutely pissed at this game, or if I'm just gonna be like, I got this. Like get like toxic towards it. Be like, no, I'm gonna do this. Like,
I I kind of got rid of the whole toxic gameplay way before streaming, really in the
mhm,
Xbox 360 times when
mhm,
I started losing at hard stuff, because then I just realized it's like I'm getting mad at a game,
yeah.
and it's like there's only one game that's done it to me lately, and it was Wo Long.
What is that
Wo
game? I don't
Long
think I.
is by Team Ninja, the people that made Ninja Gaiden, and it's like a Souls game.
Oh, okay,
It's
interesting.
it's on Game Pass.
Mm,
If you want to put yourself through hell, feel free to try it. Um, it's a Souls game that doesn't explain anything, and it's really hard. And
oh, weird.
I just stopped playing because it's like I'm not gonna get mad at this game, but you lost me.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Nothing should be
Like
this hard.
yeah, for me, like I know like some people it's really funny because they get mad at a game and then they're just like it's just a game. Why am I mad at this game? But then that makes them more mad because they're like I shouldn't be this mad at a video game. Why am I mad at a video game? Like it just is a vicious cycle and it just keeps scaling itself up. Um for me, it's like either like I get mad because it's just like I'm just strictly outclassed in this game. Like do you remember Splitgate? Did you ever play that game?
I watched
It was
people
from
play
like last
Splitgate.
year.
Yeah,
If you
it came out at a bad time.
yeah, it came out at a bad time, which is very unfortunate because people loved it, but they just didn't put in the support for it because there were just other games that came out
Right.
and they just dropped it and it's very sad. But
It had a nice Halo feel to it.
yeah, it had more of a Halo feel to it than Halo did.
Right.
Halo Infinite came out at the same time, and I would swap between Halo Infinite and Splitgate, and I was like, I I can't play Infinite. This feels worse. This doesn't feel like Halo does. Like Splitgate feels more like Halo than Halo did, and it was so weird. But no game in recent times made me as mad as Splitgate did. I don't know what it was. And like other people that have played Splitgate have said the same thing. They've agreed with me that like no game brought as much genuine anger as Splitgate did. And I don't know what it was. It it was just I think what it was that it was such a simple shooter. There wasn't like like gimmicks when it came down to it. Like sure the portals had a gimmick, but when it came to firefights, it was just whoever shot better. And like with Fortnite, you can build, you can dodge, you can slide and everything like that. With Apex, you can slide, you have abilities and everything like that. With Splitgate, it was just if you died, you simply shot worse than your opponent. And I think that that is what brought it out. That was what the genuine rage came from was just like I am simply being outgunned in a game that I like if it were 10 years ago would have been insane with. Like it's one of those things that like oh my god, I would be slamming my desk so pissed off like taking like my headset off and just being sitting there in silence after just dying just in a normal unranked game just dying just absolutely slamming my shit. It was oh my gosh.
I think that a game I could compare, it's supposed to be, it's directed at an audience, but Cuphead.
Oh yeah.
Um, that's a rage game.
Hmm.
And it obviously is directed towards young people because it's very cartoony.
Yeah.
It's got the 1950s cartoony aesthetic to it.
Yeah.
Um, and it's multiplayer, so you could rage with people too.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that shares the love with Splitgate. Um,
Yeah, and the good thing about Cuphead, I would say, is that even though it's like kids because it's cartoony, it's definitely for older people
right.
because of the style of it.
It remind
Like it brought in everyone.
it reminded me of those old SNES games that were invented for companies that rented games
Hmm.
because they would be so hard, and it's supposed to be like a kids game, but the game would be so hard that like you'd have to rent it for like 2 weeks just to beat it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's a couple Disney games like Aladdin or Lion King that are these are for kids. But if the kid can't get past the second level,
Hmm. Yeah, there were so many. Like I remember, um, I was talking about this recently. I remember playing on the Nintendo Game Boy, The Amazing Spider-Man,
okay.
and it was just a very just like side scroller, just like jump over, punch things, whatever. And then you had to fight different Spider-Man villains. There was like a few levels. Like you're like, oh, you're in the park now, and you got to go stop Rhino in the park. He's like the first level and stuff. But it was the classic thing of like, if you die, you die. You start over from level one. There was no codes, there was nothing. You just had to get through. And if you died, it was it. And like I remember just spending so much time playing the Amazing Spider-Man, just trying to get past like Mysterio and stuff, and just dying and having to just restart and be like, all right, Rhino, time to fight you in the park again. And it was this nonstop.
I I have a streamer friend that does that. Like he plays specifically difficult games,
Mhm.
and I think he spent almost a year on Battletoads.
Oh my
And
gosh, that's
I felt
crazy.
so bad for him, but I enjoyed watching the streams because it was the same format. You're gonna
Mhm,
get to the one part, and how like he'll ask you to do like cheese emotes,
mhm,
to cheese a boss or something like that. And
mhm.
I'm like, I can't do that.
Yeah,
I'm a very laid back, let the cutscene roll, kind of hang out with chat kind of guy.
yeah,
To put yourself through that sadism type of gaming,
yeah.
it takes a lot.
It
to,
does, like, and to keep doing it, like,
uh,
despite nothing changing,
right.
I can't imagine that. Like, I would lose my mind if doing the exact same thing, like, you can't it's not like you can feel yourself getting better. Like at least with like Elden Ring and stuff like that and other Souls, like you can learn their attacks, you can get better and like do some like parries sometimes better and everything. Like there feels like there's a skill curve to it. But some of those games, you just do the same thing and nothing changes for multiple times over. I would lose my mind.
I totally agree. When I came to Twitch, I came to Twitch because of speedrunners.
Mhm.
So I was watching this one stream, speedrunner in particular, Bakbasu, who
Oh,
showed
I
me
didn't.
all a bunch of these horror streamers, right?
Oh wow, nice.
And I met a couple of them along the way, and I met this one named Super Sleepy T. He's
Mhm.
like this whole pumpkin. He likes Jason,
Oh, cool.
Michael Myers, and stuff like that. And he's speedrunning Resident Evil 3, right?
Mhm.
And I'm watching this guy physically break down mentally on stream. Um, for how many times he's had to restart the game because something went wrong.
Yeah.
And my favorite thing is to watch somebody in chat try to tell him something. And
Oh
I'm
my
like,
gosh.
you're trying to tell a guy who has a speedrun bar on his left corner how to play the game that he's speedrunning.
Yeah.
Um,
It's it's so funny.
it's like unless your name is like on the top 5 in the world, he's not going to listen to you.
Yeah. And
Whatever.
like no one wants to listen to you at this point,
Right.
my boy. Like I'm gonna be honest with you.
um, like, do you have backseating problems?
Not really. Mostly because like none of my uh, none of my crew know what the fuck I'm doing. Like,
Okay.
and so like in Elden Ring, like I don't have a problem with it because I don't know what I'm doing, so I welcome it. It's not like, oh, don't tell me. I know this game more than you. It's just like, guys, I don't know where I'm going. Please help me out. I welcome all backseating. Other than that, it's like I I'm a higher rank than you in League. Don't tell me what to do. Like it's
Right. There's a game that I know that you've played multiple times that I love backseating because there's so many steps in the game. It's really hard to fucking remember everything, and that is Visage.
oh
Um,
yeah. Oh yeah.
so I know that you recently helped Kyo play that game.
hmm
Um,
I've helped a lot of people play that game. It's my favorite scary game to recommend to people, but it needs backseating. Like I'm well aware of that.
I I like the game too. I wish it had a little bit more user friendly mechanics.
Yeah. Yeah.
The medication switches, the lighter switches,
Yeah.
um, controlling your insanity. Maybe like you don't have to highlight a specific item to pick up, but like make it more easier to know that listen, you have to collect that item.
Yeah, exactly. Like I know that the like I personally liked that part of it where it was kind of vague on like seeing lighters and everything like that and everything like and there are like strats to playing the game.
Mm-hmm.
But the most annoying part it was just moving things between your hands and in the inventory. It's just the most convoluted thing and when you're trying to very quickly like swap to grab like your lighter or grab some pills because you're going insane and like you drop it and like you drop things and you accidentally pick other things up and it's just like oh well now I died because I was trying to do stuff. That's what it's annoying.
And sometimes the game doesn't give you time to breathe.
Yeah.
Um, uh, Maybe two of them. Dolores's and the Lucy.
Yeah, Lucy.
Yeah, so there are two ones where you don't really have time to breathe.
Which is interesting that you recommend Reagan first. I always recommend Lucy first. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I like Lucy's because it it teaches you the layout of the house best. Like obviously Dolores is just like, oh yeah, you don't know the layout of the house anymore because you need to use the mirrors to get around the house. But Lucy was just like, this is just the house. It's just dark. You need to remember what the place looks like based on like just a cabinet that you see or something like that. You need to remember how to get around the place. And so it's very like it teaches you the house layout, which is so crucial for so much of the game. That's why I like starting with that one. You still there, by the way? I'm not sure if your sound cut out or not.
Oh man,
Oh, there we go. Hi.
I must have hit something.
Oh yeah, but you were still there for a bit. So
Okay. Um. Yeah. I was saying Lucy's the most stalkery out of all of them because she'll be like behind a shower curtain or behind a corner, and you could just see her briefly, and then when you go around the corner, she's not there.
hmm
But she has also big payouts, like the part where you're in the attic and there's like a bird cage up there,
Mhm.
and you have to use the fucking camera to get through that part, and she's always there, and you have to really watch where you walk. So she had probably like one of the more cooler parts to get through.
Yeah.
But nothing really beats depressing ass Dolores' story.
Yeah, it was both both Lucy's and Dolores' story were very depressing, and it like particularly Dolores. I was helping one of my streamer friends get through it, and after the Dolores cutscene, they just kind of had to sit there for a bit and just be like, I I need a minute. I
Yeah.
That was actually like too much. That like I can't take this at hold on. So we gotta like pause the game. Like I'm gonna go to just chatting for a bit because that one was very very heavy, and so like I liked that part. Raken, it felt it like it was like less personal. I feel like almost because it's something that you can kind of relate to. Um, but it was still all great. I love Visage so much.
Another thing about Raken is that you could hear him coming.
Yeah,
That's another thing that's easy about him.
yeah.
Like if you hear the click clacks of his little canes that
Mhm.
he has to use to walk, you know that you have to get away. The other two,
Yeah, it's just, "Oh, music picked up.
uh,
Good luck." Like especially, like, with when Lucy's chapter when it's the friend chasing you instead of her, and
hmm
it's just like, you have no idea. You literally don't see him until he stabs you, and so you just flashing the camera in whatever way you think the sound is coming from, and just, like, hoping, like, "Please, please, dear God, work." Like, I hear the music. Okay, music's gone. Whew, we're good. Like,
Does that
it
game
felt
deserve a
so much
sequel?
worse. I See, the thing is that it would be hard to pull it off, I think. Like it it did what it was trying to do very well. Like the menu and stuff were kind of like messed up, but like if they did it again, it's either, oh, this is just the first Visage again, like the same kind of thing, or it's an entirely different game that then loses its charm. Like if they manage to do something new and pull it off well, great. But it would be, I wouldn't want to see another of the same thing just like in a different house or like in like, oh, we're in a school now instead. I wouldn't really want to see that.
I'm kind of gonna agree with you. I said if they did anything with it, it should be a prequel.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It had to like it would basically be the same thing again, and like as cool as it would be, it'd be hit or miss, I'd say.
Um, let's do a couple top fives for you.
All right.
Well, you don't have to do it in a specific order, especially just name five
All right.
because ranking's kind of hard. Yeah,
Yeah,
even when
yeah,
I rank my top fives, it's like, damn, I really put
yeah.
that at five. um,
Even when I'm thinking of five things, I'm just like, I don't know. I can't think of five things at the top of my head, let alone in an order.
we can't do this PC or console specific because that's too vague.
Mm.
But let's do like, and these could be games that you haven't streamed. But like, let's do the top five games that you could think of that you would rank. You're like, this is S tier, all five of them.
Um, See, it's a lot of things for me. I rank things based on like the experience that I had playing them more so than like if they were actually a good game or not. So like God of War 3 for example was another one where I beat it in one night cuz I was just hanging out with my friends and we were just spamming it and playing it forever. So like that, even though it's not like an amazing game and like particularly difficult, that will probably be in like my one of top 5 because of just the memories I have with it. Um Other than that, oof, other great games. Um, I'd say Halo Combat Evolved. As
Ooh.
as weird as that is, yeah, that again was just because of the
Experience.
yeah, the
Yeah.
experience with it. Like it was the first game that I figured out how to like pirate. Um and like so I played the shit out of it. And like I would bring my laptop to school in like the last few like the last week of classes or whatever, when you don't really have to do anything, you're just kind of sitting there, and I would be sitting there playing Halo Combat Evolved on my laptop like in class, and it was just like this is it. This is peak Halo. like, and so I had that memory in my head when I was going into Infinite, and I was just like, yeah, nope, this isn't it. um, uh, I'd say Skyrim. I'd never played like modded Skyrim or anything like that,
That's fine. Vanilla is good
and
enough for all the people.
yeah,
For all the people that push the whole mod shit, into it. Like, you're only making the vanilla version look better
hmm
because like all you're saying is that this game needed even more than it already had.
yeah,
And
no,
the game
I
had a
love it.
lot going for it. So
Yeah, and I love I loved it so much. I never did much in it. I only did just an unarmed build every single time, and just punching the shit out of a dragon. There's no better fucking feeling. Oh my god. Like you're useless until like they land, but you're just sitting there looking up at it like, "Come on, motherfucker. Land. Land. Let me punch the shit out of you. Hurry up. Like get down here. Stop breathing fire on me, asshole. Get the fuck down here." And as soon as it gets down, you just start beating the shit out of it. Like that it just felt so fun. I I love that so goddamn much.
I mean, that's a good thing about Skyrim is that you could basically play the game any way you want.
Yeah.
Like, you want to be a magic guy, you want to be a bow and arrow guy, you want to be an axe, sword,
Mhm.
in your case, like a monk, where you just use your fists.
I was a fucking Viking at that point.
Yeah.
I never used Khajiit either, even though they had the unarmed bonus. I was like, I don't want to be a cat. I want to be some badass Nord and just punch the shit out of dragons.
It's easily top 10 best games of the 2010s.
Yeah.
Easily. Now, is it top 5? Yes, it's also top 5. That's how scary Skyrim is. So, am I going to say, is it the best game? A lot of people will fight me there because they're going to say that The Witcher 3. They're going to say Grand Theft Auto 5 because Grand Theft Auto 5's online DLC is still going today.
Yeah. Yeah.
10 years almost later, which is crazy.
Yeah. It's insane.
Skyrim's had like what 5 remasters for different consoles. And that's Bethesda just being greedy
Yeah.
and not giving us a 6. But
Yep.
obviously they're working on the space game for like 7 years, so
Yeah, we'll see. But
um
yeah.
I think they were disappointed that we didn't care about Fallout 76, but that's their fault.
Yeah, they just didn't like the Fallouts just kind of started just faltering, I'd say. Like it was no longer like people wanted to play them because they just kind of lost their charm. Like I saw people play like modded Fallout, and that's what made it good, unfortunately. Like it was different than Skyrim where modded just made it a different experience. Like with the Fallout like 4 and stuff like that. If it wasn't modded, it just wasn't a good time.
I didn't hate 4. I got to play it before they fixed all the bugs.
hmm
So the original clean cut version of it, you could use the dog to steal shit that was hidden behind things,
hmm
which made it very fun.
Yeah.
You could go up to any barter, sell them an amount of stuff, buy that same amount back, and then sell one item of that same thing. And now you
Mm.
access their entire menu and get everything for free. Um, so it was very fun when it first came out. When I
Yeah,
look back at it, I tried playing it as like a buffer game this year.
yeah,
Couldn't do it.
yeah. Exactly. Like it just didn't have much going for it. And like I tried playing it a few times, like, and it just wasn't like I was like I'm not really into it. I don't feel like I want to continue as weird as it is. Like
My favorite game of all time is getting a remake.
which one?
Metal Gear
Super
Solid 3.
Oh, in my head I was just like Super Mario RPG.
That that's on my top 5.
Wow,
Yeah.
intriguing.
Yeah,
I never played it,
so
so
I'm getting remakes of 2 of my favorite games ever.
that's crazy.
Like if they do, even though I'll admit that Silent Hill 2 is the best Silent Hill and that one's getting a remake, if they
Mhm.
remade 3, I'm like, yo, are they just marketing to me, or like what is this shit?
Exactly. They've had a plant the whole time in your chat, just like, all right, this is it. We
Yeah,
know we've been watching him for years.
we'll get his money.
Exactly. Because we know he's gonna say it on his talk show, he's gonna tell everyone that it's gonna get remade. They're gonna try it out. It's gonna be perfect. It's the perfect plan.
um, I can't wait for that. To be fair, like Metal Gear Solid 3 is on mine, Silent Hill 3, Mega Man X,
Hmm.
Super Mario RPG, and see, this is where I get sketchy because like the one that I put at 5 and 6, they're pretty much equal. Like I really like the Fable 3.
Hmm. I never played it.
Fables are good.
Nice.
But that one I always leave at 6 because the other game that's at 5 is like you shouldn't you should have this game probably higher because of like its status and in the gaming
Hmm.
community,
Hmm.
which is the Ocarina of Time. The
Oh
Ocarina of
yeah, yeah,
the Ocarina of Time has aged poorly.
yeah, yeah. It
Yeah.
definitely has.
Um.
Like I never really got to play single player games like growing up because I had two younger brothers. And
Ooh.
so yeah, and so your ability to just sit there and play a game by yourself without a younger brother wanting to play and then the parent being like you have to let him play. You got to play something together. It's very limited. So I never played any of the Legends of Zeldas. Like the first one that I played was one of the ones for the DS. Um,
One of the
mm,
ones for the DS. So, Link to the Past was on the
not that.
DS.
Yeah, it wasn't that one. It was one of the worst ones.
Oh,
Let
I think I know which one you're talking about.
let me see.
He's typing it in, guys. He's typing
Yeah,
it
I'm
in.
trying to figure it out. Oh, it's Phantom Hourglass. Yeah, it was Phantom Hourglass.
That's like a
Which
3-hour game.
I mean, maybe for you, I was not good at the game. I was like, I don't know the first thing about Legend of Zelda games. But yeah, that one.
I think that one that one did get butchered by fans amongst it's
Yeah, people hated that one. People did not like that one. I was just like,
people didn't
that's
like
the
Skyward
only
Sword. I like Skyward Sword.
true. Yeah, the only one that was the only Zelda game that I played, and like I played like the first level of Skyward Sword because it was like in Targets and WalMarts at the time when you wanted to try out like the Wii, it would let you do the demo of Skyward Sword. That was it. I only ever played that. I didn't get to play the actual one. So,
I play a lot of Resident Evil during my horror month,
hmm,
and they just recently made the 4th one, which I said they didn't need it. And even when you play it against the original, and you're like, yeah, you're right. They didn't need this.
yeah.
But they did something sketchy in this new one.
Hmm.
And they put Wesker, who was like the chief antagonist of the series, in it for a small clip at the end. And the voice actor, I don't hate it.
Hmm.
I just don't like the lines that he said. the
Oh,
scripted
interesting.
lines that he said. It, it,
Interesting.
it made Wesker sound like I don't know if you know the character.
Not really,
Now,
unfortunately, but
Wesker is like he's devious, super intelligent, and has a power hungry mind. But the lines that they gave him in that was like, ew.
yeah, yeah.
I was like, why would you do that? But I'm curious to see where they go with it. I'm curious.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, we'll see.
what's the most? But you said Visage is one of your favorites. What's the most like fun horror game for you that's like popular as well?
Hmm.
Like
So
Keanu's recently played Dead Space. Um,
yeah,
so like it would be on the lines of that.
yeah. So for me, which is it's really funny. I don't play horror games. Like I never have, and I never really like to. Um, just like there's two reasons. One, like I used to live in like a very like when I would live with my parents, it's just a very large empty house, and it was kind of like in the hills. So
If you
like you
scream,
would yeah.
everyone can
So
hear you.
yeah, but like at night you would hear like coyotes and stuff like that. So I remember like watching Frozen, the horror movie Frozen.
Right.
I don't know if you know that one.
I
I imagine you do.
I
It's the one with like they're on a ski lift and then it gets stuck
yeah,
and then so they're just stuck up there. Yeah, one person gets eaten by wolves and stuff. Spoiler. Sorry guys.
it's okay.
Uh yeah, one guy gets eaten by wolves and I remember after watching that and then just like going home from my friend's place and then just all night the coyotes were yipping and I was just like I hate this. This is the worst. I just watched some guy get eaten by wolves and now I had to listen to coyotes all night. Oh god, never mind. And so so I never really liked horror at all. Um and so like I've never really played horror games. The reason I like Visage a lot is just like I would watch someone else that played a lot of horror games and then when they played Visage, it was like the scariest game that they had ever played and I was like, yeah, oh my gosh, like this is a different kind of horror game. It's not like sure it had the PT-esque feel to it, but like we didn't get PT. We didn't
Is it
they didn't ever finish off that game.
since
So
since you're mentioning it? Is it weird that we have to constantly, as a community that like watch that whole experience go down? Is it weird that we have to bring that up to compare it to how the first person horror game is now,
yeah,
knowing knowing
it's
that
very weird.
Kojima kind of dropped the ball on that one?
It's very weird. It's just like it's like why like it's insane what it could have been that we compare a demo that wasn't released that was then removed to every game ever and it's just like oh yeah this is like PT this like any horror game inside of a house it has to be like PT and it's like it PT wasn't a game. Why are we comparing a full
Right.
game to a demo of a game that then is no longer available or anything like that? Like it's crazy to think about.
The prestige behind that game is that you have to pay like $800 just to get a hard drive with one of
Yeah,
the games on it. That's
yeah,
what that has right now,
yeah,
and it's for
exactly.
something that it's never going to be.
Yeah,
Kojima right now has a horrible relationship with Konami. It's never gonna happen.
yeah, exactly. It's never gonna happen. And like people are still just like, oh my god, yeah, I have a console that had it saved before, like onto the hard drive before it was removed from everything. So this has it. And it's like,
You could
oh
look
my
it up,
gosh.
Lurk, if you want to. Like, go on Google, look up PT playable on a hard drive, and see how much people are selling their shit for. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, it's like a collector's item at this point.
Yeah.
Just to say that you have the console with it on it, and so selling it is like selling a rare Pokemon card at this point. Like,
Mm,
not
Totally.
quite, but
But a horror game about bugs. Like, are these huge bugs? Are we talking like the Mist? Um, I don't know if you've ever watched that movie. All right.
Nope.
Um, the Mist has these like giant like locust like bugs
Mhm.
that walk on hind legs and eat people.
Yeah.
And this family that's going to try to survive this endeavor decides that they're not going to be able to escape this mist with all these monsters in it.
Mhm.
So the dad, being, you know, the brave-hearted soul, uses bullets of his gun to kill his whole family. And
Great.
he runs out of bullets, so he can't kill himself.
Huh?
And the moment that he steps out of his car, the military rolls in with like tanks, and
Mhm.
so he didn't have to kill
Do
his
that. Oh,
family.
yeah. Great. Great. Love
it's
that.
it's one of the most shocking endings of a Stephen King um production, I suppose. Like
Yeah.
he wrote the story, but he didn't write that. They put that in. the,
That's so funny. That's
the
so funny.
those sick Hollywood writers.
Mhm. Oh yeah, and that's the thing. Like kind of another tangent. The thing about like movies nowadays, I wish that they had more bad endings. Like not like there's so many just like, oh, it's always everything is okay, like the good guys win or whatever, or like something like the bad guys defeated or whatever. There's no more like just jarring endings like that. Like that is a bad ending. The guy killed his whole family and now you're just like he has to live with that for the rest of his life. It's not, you don't see that anymore. Even in like scary movies, it's like, oh yeah, people like they either all died or but like then it's like, oh yeah, it just don't live in the house anymore. Oh well, it's like there's not like, oh my god, I'm walking out of the theater like seriously fucked up just thinking about it. It just doesn't happen anymore.
There's a couple directors out there that get away with it.
Hmm.
Scorsese does.
Yeah.
Shutter Island, um, The Departed. You
Yeah.
know, they didn't have happy endings.
Yeah. Exactly.
Everybody either fucking died or you got thrown into a giant loop and twist. Midsummer. That's a perfect example. A24, the company that made that, they're on a roll. Every movie that they make is like huge.
Yeah.
Um, those movies are out there. The bad ending movies. They're
Yeah.
just
Exactly.
few and far between because, and this is a big thing, you're gonna get attacked by Rotten Tomatoes. You're gonna get attacked by Metacritic,
Yeah.
your average fan, because they're like, "Oh, I walked out of there all sad," and
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm like, that's what they were trying to do.
Yeah, exactly. Like as weird as it is, like with the Marvel movies, of the most recent ones that are good was, that was weird. Random shit just fell. The most recent one that was good was the end game one, or the one that it ended with just like, what the fuck is gonna happen? Like
Infinity War.
Infinity War. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Infinity War. Like that was the best one of recently
I
because just like, oh my god,
I
all
hundred
these heroes are
I
are gone.
I 100% agree. And the reason why that movie was so good is because finally we get to sit in the villain seat.
Yeah.
That was a Thanos movie. That wasn't an Avengers movie.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's cool, especially if you're so used to this one thing and now you're getting this other thing. And they couldn't recreate that if they tried.
Yeah.
There,
Like
there's nothing even in the future to look at something like that. You got nothing for us, so.
exactly. It's all, they have nothing planned. It's all following the heroes. All heroes win, and that just kind of subverted the whole hero trope in a hero movie, like advertises a hero movie of just like Thanos is winning. He's just crushing absolutely everything. He's like killing people. They're actually losing hope, and it ends with, oh my god, he won. Like that's, now what? Like you had to wait for for Endgame. You were just sat there just like, oh my god. that's that's it. Like the villain has won. It was such a like just a absolute just flip on its head of what we were so used to with all the three Iron Mans and the multiple Thors and the
Mm,
Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff like that. And like they were good for like superhero movies, I guess, but like it just started getting old.
right. I wish a lot more series would have just like they knew when to close the book.
Yeah.
One that's very very specific to me is Rocky.
Hmm. Yeah.
All right, so you had 5 Rocky movies. The first one is one of the best ones because he doesn't win.
Yeah. Exactly.
um,
Like
now you let it go out of control to the point where Rocky's not even in the movies anymore, and it's Apollo Creed's kid. And they're all 3 of those movies. They're not bad, but they're not Rocky. They don't
yeah,
have.
like yeah, and like but like in like the classic ones, like people still remember to this day the if he dies, he dies.
Right,
Like people still remember that. Like
right.
it's just like, oh my god, this is a bad guy. like
And
and
you went from that to what you have now, and it's just you can't compare it.
yeah,
There is no
exactly.
comparison. If it,
Yeah, like before it just felt like just raw like emotion and like it just felt real, and now it's just it feels like it's just a like it's too perfect and like for show and stuff almost. I don't
Keanu says he loves the joke in Spaceballs about Rocky 5000.
know.
Um, they make a joke in Spaceballs of Spaceballs 2, The Search for More Money, because that the sequel to that would have been crazy expensive because George Lucas gave them a set of rules of what they can do and what they can't do during it, and he followed
Yeah,
them to a T. Like this is
yeah,
what they were allowed to do. This is what they weren't allowed to do. And I would never want to see anything Mel Brooks Spaceballs related because you don't have John Candy. He died. Um,
yeah.
a lot of the people that were in the original died. The chick that played the gold maid robot, I can't think of it, Joan Rivers. She died too.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So you got a lot of the original stuff that made that movie funny, and you can't do it now.
yeah.
There's just some
It's
stuff you just shouldn't remake, and they keep
yeah,
doing it.
yeah. Like you shouldn't touch some things. Like even like with Indiana Jones,
Right.
how they're coming out with a new one or they came out. I don't know.
Yeah, it's out.
Either way, yeah. I think it just came out like this week. They should have taken it from the last Indiana Jones that didn't do too well, the Crystal Skull one, to stop. Like no one wants to remember that Harrison Ford is getting old. I
Right.
think that's like a huge thing. Like with the Star Wars movies and stuff like that, seeing old Harrison Ford, seeing this guy that was our childhood, that was in Indiana Jones, that was in Star Wars, just this amazing guy, seeing him old, it makes people sad.
Right. Right. Right.
he's he's one of those people. Like a lot of other people, like they don't look like they're getting old as much. Like Mark Hamill, like sure he's old, but it doesn't feel like he's old, I'd say, as weird as it is. Like he still has like the youthfulness about him. Harrison Ford feels old, and it's just like it's almost harrowing seeing him in films and stuff nowadays.
I agree. He's actually in one of the most, as an old guy, he's in one of the most beautifully filmed movies I've seen in the last decade, which is Blade Runner 2040, or what is it, 2049, or
Yeah, whatever. I
the
forgot
the
what the number
the,
was.
the new Blade Runner movie.
Yeah.
Um, that movie, like visually, it's not really a good plot, but
Mm,
the visuals of that movie are incredible.
yeah.
Like, what drugs were those guys taking when they're like, the set looks perfect? Because you watch that movie, if you watch that movie under the influence, you'd be like, yo, what is this? This is,
Some movies like that, it's just like, oh my
yeah.
god.
I like a lot of visually pleasing movies and games.
Mm,
There was one that came out last year, High on Life.
Mhm.
the Rick and Morty makers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that was a visually pleasing game.
Mhm.
Like I enjoyed every bit of it for the visuals. Sure, did the plot kind of suck because it was quick. That's why it sucked. Like
Yeah.
they didn't want to keep you there all day, and I understand. You probably made this game in a year, popped it
Yeah.
on the shelves. Um, what's like to you? And it's probably going to be a more recent game, obviously, because we've done so much with graphics over the recent time.
Yeah.
What's a visually pleasing game for you that you've played?
Oh, man.
And you're allowed to say
Um,
Elden Ring, because oh my god, that part where you first come out after fighting Godric the
yeah.
Grafted or whatever his name is,
Yeah.
when you first defeat him and you come out of those woods and you see Learning of the Lakes and that skull and how beautiful that looks.
Yeah. The funny thing is that like I played Elden Ring late. I only started it like a month ago or 2 months ago. And so like it while it is a beautiful game, it doesn't it's not striking to me. I don't play it and I'm just like, "Oh my god, this game is fucking gorgeous."
Hmm.
And like I'm trying to think of games that I've played. Like I'm like scrolling through my list right now of just games that I've like genuinely like entered and just been like, "Holy shit, this game is amazing." It's like I feel like I've been like I don't know. Like part of it is just that like I there's been so many quote unquote beautiful games that aren't great games that kind of then ruin the like the feeling of it,
Right,
I'd say.
right.
And like there's so many games that are great games with not great visuals and like being gorgeous that it's just like, like you don't really need incredible visuals
You're
to
bringing
be
out
amazing.
a game to that you're defining right there, and definition would be Hades.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Hades isn't graphically pleasing, but the
Yeah.
gameplay, the story, the dialogue.
Yeah. And there's so many games that are just um like the thing is that like it's a different kind of graphically pleasing. So like I did 3D animation and stuff in college. I was my minor and I originally wanted to go into game design. And so I still just have a love for all kinds of things. So like even like Sunhaven. I don't know if you know that game. It's just like a little like cozy kind of
I've
game.
seen people like I didn't click on it obviously, but I've seen it being streamed.
Yeah, exactly. It's a cozy kind of like Stardew Valley esque game, but just the little like pixel kind of thing that they did. It's not like pixelated. It just has that nice pixel feel to it. It's a gorgeous game.
Lurk,
And
I'm comparing that game to like let me take like a really obvious graphically pleasing game like It Takes Two.
mhm,
It Takes Two won Game of the Year off of the looks. That game didn't need much. It didn't even
yeah.
have a proper ending.
Mhm. Yeah, I've
but
never even got into the ending of it, which is hilarious. I've
but
played it
they
with so many people, and it's just like I've never gotten to the end.
the game's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's its moneymaker. That's what it's got going for it. Um,
Hmm.
and that's what I'm using as a comparison with say Hades.
Yeah.
But I will agree with you. Like Hades is probably should have won Game of the year it came out.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, it was under heavy competition that year. Um, uh, was Hades either came out the year before Resident Evil Village?
I don't remember. Unfortunately,
Uh,
I never really played Hades, so.
I'm trying to think of that year that it came out. I know it had heavy competition. That's the only reason why I didn't get more.
Hmm. Yeah, like there's so many other games that like are just like gorgeous in their own right, I'd say. Like Warframe, for
Right,
example.
right. And
Like
Warframe for a long time was pretty basic, and they just built and built and
Yeah,
built and built.
exactly. And now, like, I'll still play Warframe, and I'll just sit there like, wow, this is a gorgeous game. This is a space game that like feels like a space game,
Right.
and always been keeping up as graphics keep up. Like it started out so long ago that it was like good for the time, and it didn't stay like that. Like a lot of games, they still stay with their same visuals just because like, oh, this is what people want. They want it to look the same no matter what. But Warframe, it has kept up with the times, and I really like it. Every single time I play, I'm like, this is a gorgeous game.
Warframe, Fortnite. There's a lot of those games out there that like NFL, NBA, UFC,
Hmm.
WWE, Call of Duty should be
Hmm.
doing that same thing. Make one game and
Yeah.
improve it over time instead of making
Yep.
people pay whatever.
Yep. Exactly.
The only one that I'll give a break for is Pokemon, but Pokemon still fucks you because Pokemon
Yeah.
makes you buy two of the same game
Just to have two different Pokemon.
just to have two different
Uh,
Pokemon.
it's
So
it's great. But
I'll give Pokemon the pass there, but they still fuck you.
yeah, no, exactly. Like, and like even then, like Call of Duty, they're beautiful games. They they know how to make good like maps and make them look gorgeous. It's just that the game itself is so shit nowadays that it's like it detracts from it. Like all like starting from like the actual like the Modern Warfare where you can start like flying and stuff like that. They've been gorgeous games in their own right. Even on consoles, they're running gorgeously, like with their fucking 30 FPS and stuff. It still looks gorgeous. It's just the fact that the gameplay takes away from it, and
they
you
they
see
ne-
that so much.
they've never changed a thing.
Yeah.
They I actually didn't like Modern Warfare 2 story at all.
Oh wow, interesting.
That was my least favorite game I played last year
Wow. Yeah.
by far. That story had cool characters,
Hmm.
and instead of sticking to the old Modern Warfare 2 plot where, you know, you walk into an airport and kill everybody,
Yeah. No Russian, the classic.
yeah, they didn't touch that. They didn't even talk about it. They didn't do anything like that. They just used the characters from that game and put them in this other thing, and I was like, ew.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Like that was people talked about No Russian for years to come, and they still do. It's one of those jarring things that like people nowadays are too afraid to do because it feels too real almost. Like I mean, it's understandable. Like yeah, that's just a genuine fear that didn't exist back then. Like it wasn't like a the hot topic, but like if you're gonna remake it, keep true to the remake. Like you
Right.
need to you can't be like, "Oh yeah, we're going to remake it, but it's actually not going to be remade. We're just using the name to bait you into buying this thing."
All
Like
right, and
it's
that's exactly what they did.
yeah.
Um, I I was never really scared of that. There was a movie that came out at a pivotal time called The Interview. Seth
Mhm.
Rogen, James Franco,
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah.
and it made fun of North Korea with the Kim Jong Un family.
Mhm.
Um, I went to theaters to see that. They wouldn't show it in main theaters, so I had to find a theater that was willing to play that over fear of getting attacked and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, they actually canceled. Sony Pictures canceled a movie with Steve Carell in it called Pyongyang, which is the capital of North Korea.
Yeah.
Um, I wanted to see that movie, fuckers, and you took it away from me out of fear. Uh,
Exactly.
it's a weird time we live in where art can be scary.
Yeah, it's cuz there's two kinds of people. There's the people that have experienced enough of this jarring media, whether it be real or not. Like just the like going on Facebook a decade ago was just like the worst possible thing that you could do.
Right,
Like, and there's people that are scarred by that, and they're just kind of scarred veterans, and so they want that kind of stuff. They're just like, this is they like. the only way to get over real life things is through media and experiencing it like in media. And then there's the people that are like, I've never had to experience it. I still have my like innocence, I guess. And this is too much. I don't want to be this to be jarring.
As a streamer, we do live in the fear of offending.
Yeah.
Like somebody comes in the chat, um, right away with me especially, I'm like, try not to use pronouns, like because I
Hmm.
don't know if this is a guy or a girl talking
Yeah.
to me
Yeah.
or transgender. I don't know, and I'm
Yeah.
not here to assume. And the
Yeah.
moment I assume, and then I'm being told about it, like
Yeah.
I don't want to have roles for you people. All right, like you should be able to say whatever the hell you want in my chat. If it's offensive, I have a timeout button for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But we do live in a world where it's like, man, I have to really watch what I say because of
Yeah.
crazy ass backlash.
Exactly. And there's like there's different things. There's the people that are just like, "Oh, I want to just say horribly offensive things, but I can't because of backlash." It's like, "No, that's not what I want." It's
Right,
it's
right,
different. It's like being of the age where like there were only like he, him, and she, her pronouns. It's a learning curve. And so like it's not a fear of being insensitive on purpose and being like, oh, I can't, I don't, I'm just gonna assume your gender. Like I wish it sucks that I can't just assume your gender anymore and just say that, oh, you sound like your name sounds feminine, so you're a she. Like it's a like I'm afraid that in my learning still, because openly admit that like I'm still learning things. Like I'm an older soul.
right,
Like that then people get too quickly offended, and then my head is on a stake for like just something that I'm still like, guys, I'm not this is still new to me. I'm still trying to learn.
right, right.
Like
Our job really is to entertain and
yeah.
appeal.
Hmm.
Um, there is eggshells. People got to
Hmm.
realize that. And I think of a lot of things as we're living in it right now. You have that popular VTubing company, VSojo,
Hmm.
who recently lost a couple members due to some sussy stuff. And
Yeah.
we're on the topic of it because it was over offensive behavior and such.
Yeah.
And these people made a lot of money doing being off the brand, doing what they did. And they're still going to make money because of course they built up a follower base and such like that.
Yeah.
When does the eggshells stop as a VTuber?
Like the thing is that like I don't necessarily think that it's eggshells. I think that it's, especially nowadays, it's very clean cut on what is offensive and what's not. It's not like I'm not going to say like, oh, what you can and can't say, because of course you can say whatever you want, but people know what is offensive and what isn't. Like if you hop into a Call of Duty game, you know people are trying to be offensive there.
Right,
Like
right,
I played a lot of the Warzone. I
right,
never streamed Warzone
right,
ever because it was literally impossible. You can't play that game without slurs constantly being dropped.
right,
And it's people are saying that knowing it's offensive. It's not like, oh, I have to walk on eggshells so I don't say that, or so it's like I don't want to accidentally say a slur because it's eggshells. Like, no, it's a slur. Like it's offensive. It's not
right.
necessarily eggshells. And people that say it to be edgy know that they're doing it. And that's the fan base that they want to build up, is that they want to build it around people that are just like, "Oh, finally someone else that's okay with me saying this." And it's
Right.
like, "Sure, you can have your community that does that." But like that's
You can't take that community wherever you want.
yeah,
Yeah, right. So
exactly. Like you don't want to feel bad like if you rate it out. you don't want to be like, oh God, I hope that they don't do this, or I hope that they don't do that. Like, you want to have a community that you're proud of.
Right.
And like, if that's what they're proud of, go ahead. By all means. They know what they're doing. They know what the kind of community that they're building up. And sure, but like, it's not what like most people want. And like, the sane members of society and of Twitch, they just want someone that they can talk to and relate to. Like,
I'm reading what Keone said, and Twitch and misogyny kind of go. I don't want to say hand in hand
mhm.
because who succeeds the most on here?
I mean, there's different numbers that to
Right?
look at.
No, 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 no.
Like,
I know, but who's making the most noise? XQC, Kai Cenat,
mhm,
Ninja. You
yeah,
know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
like we know who the guys have made the millions of dollars are.
Yeah,
When
exactly.
you
And
come
it's
over the females, it's Amaranth. It's I can't think of her.
Iron Mouse.
Well, Iron
Is
Mouse is top tier female VTuber,
yeah.
but
I think like
uh,
top tier like female like streamer. She's like been like the top 5 like
yeah,
metrics wise for
right.
months now.
Oh, she's
Yeah, like
incredible.
Pokemon
Have
and
you ever
stuff.
heard her sing? Uh,
I'd never watched Iron Mouse. That was
I just follow her. I don't watch her either because there's no point in chatting.
yeah,
Uh, um,
exactly.
and I bet she feels like that sucks. I know
Yeah.
she probably feels like that sucks because she used to be small like us
Mhm.
and blew up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, she sang Shakira on stream.
Oh, yeah, I saw a clip of that.
Holy
That was
shit!
incredible.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm like, where did that come from?
Yeah, and it's just it's in her background. Like, she has the
Yeah,
she is Hispanic, so
she's Puerto Rican if I'm not mistaken.
I don't remember.
I'm pretty
Maybe.
sure. I'm pretty sure. Pokimane. Yeah, there's another one. But yeah, Pokimane's a pot stirrer, I heard. I don't watch Pokimane, but I just know of the pot
Yeah.
being stirred over there.
Mhm. Yeah.
I'm now learning that you don't watch really big streamers.
Yeah. I really don't. I like used to, but like not like the big streamers even then. Like just a few thousand or whatever. Like, I used to watch Ninja like back when he was doing like his Drake collabs and stuff like that. Like, it was fun to watch because I played Fortnite and I was like, this is I learned by watching, kind of. And so that was it. It wasn't I was watching him as like as a streamer. Like,
I said earlier, I came in because of Bach Soup. Now, Bach
mm,
Soup at any given night is 2 to 7,000,
mm,
right?
yeah,
And I'd still try to chat with that guy. Once in a while,
that's fair.
he would read something,
Hmm.
but what all he showed me is that there's other people around him that do the same thing. Some of them are even better.
Yeah.
Um, and I ended up talking to them, and that's how I fell in love with being like a chatter.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm like you. At heart, I'd rather probably chat,
Yeah.
but there's this huge personality that I am that I need to put out there because
Hmm.
I'm quite a well, like you. There's a very layered, ridiculous character here that is dying to get out.
Yeah. Exactly. Like,
uh,
you just have like your inner self that you want to show people.
right.
Like, people want to interact with it, and like, you can't get that out through a chat. Like, sure, you can like shit post in a Twitch chat and stuff
Oh,
like that, and just like it feels great, but
my
it's different.
goal all the time is to come in and at least try to make the streamer laugh at what they're reading at
Yeah.
least once.
Yeah. Exactly.
Um,
Like, so, there's no better feeling than like when you say something and it just gets the streamer laughing. Like they'll like read half of it and then just stop because they're laughing so fucking hard.
right.
Like, it that you're just like, I did that. I made the streamer laugh just through a thing that I typed. Like, there's no better feeling.
There's no good payoff on it either, but I don't know. There's a couple streamers that I watch that have they stick to their core people, which is
Mhm.
okay. I couldn't do that though.
Yeah.
Um, because like I'm all about solidarity, trying to do the one-on-one. I love being a small streamer because every
Mhm.
single person that comes in, I could give them my time of day
Yeah.
and make their viewership count. But
Yeah.
um, there's a couple streamers I watch that have their core people, and they make that core couple people all about their stream, and I'm
Mhm.
like, I don't know how you do that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And
Um,
like I found so many amazing people just like through being a chatter. Like I found you just in chats. I remember like Kione. I followed Kione because he said something so fucking funny in Kyo's chat one time. I was busting out fucking laughing, and like I remember it. I don't remember what exactly he said, but it was just something that I was thinking about. But then like maybe like a copy paste or whatever, and then immediately became message deleted, and I was fucking crying, tears of laughter. And I was like, oh yeah, this guy is getting my fucking follow. That was so goddamn funny. And it's just from a Twitch chat message. And like it's things like that. That like
min-
just like as a chatter, you can still find things.
minions hentai.
Oh yeah, that was after we knew each other, of course. That wasn't just like a like just out of the blue, like, oh yeah, here you go. Here's something special just for you. Like
Um, I think also another thing that I love about being a chatter is I I don't like to mention a number, but
mhm,
I've contributed to a lot of people that we watch, like monetary wise.
mhm.
And you know what I've learned from that?
What?
Being a monetary donor to a streamer, it's not going to. It's not like you're not going to get like a. There's no hierarchy ladder or anything like that.
Yeah.
But down the road, they really do appreciate you.
Yeah.
Like you're that guy that gave me 100 subs one time, or
Yeah,
something
exactly.
like that. And I always say to people, I'm like, every streamer says this, of like, if you don't have the money, please don't be giving it.
Yeah.
But the ones that do, it's kind of like, I don't want to say that the essence of streaming is just to make money, because obviously it's not. Otherwise,
Yeah.
most of us fucking wouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think I've ever walked away from streaming with a paycheck. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. Like I've definitely put in more than I made out,
right.
but
But it's a weird thing that I'm not saying that you could buy friendship, but you could kind of like buy a certain level of respect, especially if
yeah,
you've behaved in a chat's, in a streamer's chat and stuff like that.
yeah, it's very weird because you can see that in particular with like larger streamers. I would say like less so like with smaller streamers you can just be a chatter and you get asthma recognition. Like they'll know like some people like donate more than others. But with large streamers in particular, like they know some people and they're VIPs and stuff just for donating a lot.
Right.
and
And
and then like if they are also streamers is like then like they'll get rated by the larger streamer just because they've donated a lot of money, and they're just like, oh yeah, I know this person, here we'll send you off to them. Like it's purely because of that. So like there is gain to be had from like donating and spending a lot, but like
it's
then you have
also
to
it's
follow it up.
also it's also the unspoken way of saying I want you to continue, I want you to succeed
Yeah,
without saying
exactly. Yeah,
it. Well, like when you push a lot of income somebody's way, just be like, I enjoy what you do. Keep keep doing it. Do
yeah,
it better even.
exactly. I don't. I'm not one to just like randomly like gift subs and donate and stuff like that. But
Right.
when people are like holding like donathons and stuff for a reason,
Yeah.
I'd say for like a purpose. That's like what you said. I want you to continue what you're doing. Like if they're like, guys, I hate to do this, but like I need like to make rent this month or whatever, or I
Right.
need like my cat is having a surgery or whatever, and I need to do this. Like that's when I'm just like I want to help out. I don't want you to like I like what you do. I like your content. I like you as a person. And if IRL things that are beyond your control are possibly keeping you from this, I want to assist. It's not like a just a random thing. So that's for me at
I think I've
least.
done this almost every Tender Talk where we dive into something like this, like a
Mhm.
topic where it's like, well, maybe this isn't comfortable for everybody to talk about,
Yeah.
but like it's also the reality of what we're looking at. Is we can't ignore this kind of thing. Um, I think if anything has taught me about being a donator is that you know I don't care what I'm spending my money on. What Keone just said is like he never knows if I'm serious or not. I'm never serious about anything. I don't care about a lot of things. I don't care about the game I'm playing. I don't care about the content that I make. I'm here to
Yeah.
have fun, make friends globally. And at the
Yeah.
end of the day, if there's a problem with doing that, I'm going to also ignore that problem.
It's really funny. So like it just I've mostly interacted with you like as a chatter or whatever. And it's really funny because sometimes I'm just like that's the most outlandish shit I've ever heard someone like ever seen someone type in my fucking life. And then I remember that you partake in the devil's lettuce, and I'm just like, maybe this is why that this is what he chose to say right now. But I've never heard someone say this shit in my fucking life. It's like sometimes you just say like the normal things, like you're just a normal human. Then it's just like, is this guy like really an alien? Like there's just the duality of Tender, truly.
Well, I'm paying homage to Roger Smith from American Dad. The fact that Roger could be anybody and play personas for anybody he wants.
Yeah. Oh
That's what I wanted to do on here. But here's the
yeah.
thing. I also want to be Roger. I want to be
hmm
even more like worse than he is.
hmm
Like um I don't mind putting on bad impersonations. I love and hate singing bad karaoke.
hmm
Like I love touching songs I have no business touching. Um,
Yeah, it's fun.
I have a lot of plans coming up. Like the reason why that this is the last Tender Talk for I might bring it back, but for now I don't want to have to like have that awkward reach out to somebody and ask them something the time of their day, especially like
hmm
I have to do it on weekends usually because we all live lives, we all work, we all have shit to do, and for me
hmm
to reach out to somebody, it's like, man, I'm so anxious. I sometimes
Yeah.
I just hope they say no. A lot of
Yeah.
people don't, a lot of people do.
Yeah.
um
It's understandable.
it's just like, and the dues, it doesn't bother me at all. I told like if you have to say no to me, that's a-okay.
Yeah.
I'm not over here commanding, hey, please bring all your audience over to my channel. If you brought 4 people over, that's cool. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I don't give a shit who you brought over here. I'm just
Yeah.
expecting to have what I usually do is like a 2-hour good time of topics and conversations and finding out who the streamer is, what they're about, where do they plan on doing more, what can we look forward to.
Yeah. Exactly.
Um, so we're in the last like 8 minutes. I usually like to do some like wrap up questions.
Yeah. Of course.
So this is gonna be like a little interesting thing. When did you start streaming?
Uh, last June, I believe.
So you're in a year and a month.
Yeah, just about.
Over from then to now, what's like one of your things that you really like learned from, taken with you, um, adapted to, that kind of thing? Like, what's something that you've really grown with your experience?
I I think it's just realizing that people are there for you. If like they're not like the people that are there for the game that you're playing won't stay around. The people that are there, they're there for you. So like then you can try so much. It's like, oh, I gotta do this to do the numbers, or I gotta play this game, or I want to do this. Like this one isn't that good. Like you can try manipulating it, but at the end of the day, if you are not what they want to see, people won't show up. They won't stay around. And I think that that is something that I've learned is that like I was like trying to just be like I just wanted to make friends and stuff like that. Just hit go live and just talk with my friends on a thing. And then like as people like wanted to see me more, they were just like, "Oh yeah, we don't want to see you playing a game well, like we don't want to see like on other people's channels like you playing a game because you want to do that. We don't want to see you just in a chat. We want you. We want to have the Captain Rye experience. And so like if I don't stream for a while and then they're just like we miss this. Like we want you. We don't want just you talking in Discord chat, you talking in a Twitch chat. And, like that was like a weird thing that it took me a bit to like realize. I was like, "Oh wow, yeah. This is a this is what they're here for."
I met you through Captain Jones.
hmm
So, and I met him through Zoom. It's all big
hmm
web. I met Zoom through Tob.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like
um,
I knew of Captain Jones through Tob, just because I saw him in the chat, and I was just like, Captain, huh? And I like clicked on his name. I was like, oh, a pirate, intriguing. like,
um, I think out of you could be anything you want as a VTuber. Like I made the joke yesterday about the Texan uh beaver pirate named Bucky Near,
mhm,
because of Bucky's. Pirates is like it's a fun niche because you
yeah,
could do a lot. You could
yeah,
well, not role play, but you could like make like a whole pirate adventure.
yeah,
I'm not seeking out aliens for like an alien thing,
hmm
but I find myself wanting to I want to do this thing called I want to like the reason why this is ending because after the 1 month anniversary I'm gonna do this whole new thing.
hmm
I think I'm just gonna call it the Tender Show,
hmm
where I'm gonna ask 4 people to come on the show. So it's not gonna just be this one-on-one. It's gonna be multiple
hmm
people, and
yeah,
I want to put together like a whole thing.
yeah,
But I have to find the people that are willing to do it.
yeah, exactly. And
So
like you need like the proper like dynamic and stuff like that. With you, it'll be interesting, but
um, I draw a lot of inspiration off of like Regis Philbin, Johnny
hmm
Carson, David Letterman, and stuff like that.
yeah,
And like I don't like doing podcasts like how Rogan does it because Rogan likes to do like specifically edgy stuff that's gonna get him talked about.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
And that was like at first like maybe I should just do kind of like that just for VTubing or
hmm
streamers in general. Like let's just talk about the edgy stuff and see if it blows up. And I'm like, no,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
I rather.
There's people that do that on Twitter and like they just post the worst takes ever constantly just to get talked about.
The
And it's like,
bait.
okay, yeah, like sure you get numbers, but like obviously you're going to get numbers cuz you're just starting drama. Like you as a person are not entertaining. Like
I, I think that with this new project that I do, um, I don't want to take anybody out of their comfort level of like
mhm,
what they're willing to do to entertain,
yeah.
but I do want to do the first 2 3 episodes. I want them to be crazy as shit,
Yeah.
and I don't know if everybody's technologically going to be able to do so.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of question marks there, but
Yeah.
that's why that this is coming to an end.
Yeah, exactly. I'm curious to see how this evolves. I'm definitely intrigued.
The reason why I need to have the average like nightly talk show has like 2 guests and a band, right?
Yeah.
So obviously we're not gonna have a band. Maybe
Yeah, that's where you bring in the karaoke each time.
right. I could
You're
do
the band in the middle.
I could do like the musical number or something like that, or have the guests do
Mhm.
the musical number. And that would be pretty cool. That's the thing that I'm also thinking about.
Yeah.
It's hard to do over Discord.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Like unless the guest knows how to pipe audio through their like pipe like music through their audio input, it's so difficult to do.
Right. So I would have to play the audio, and they would have to try to sing along with it
Yeah, and
on
it would
key.
always be delayed. Like there's no
Yeah.
yeah, it's very difficult. Like I've done karaoke with other people before, and like I was just like, no, I can feed audio through mine. I have my audio set up so I can play a YouTube video on my mic if I wanted to. I'm gonna do that, so it's in time and it's not a it's not just a 2 second delay on the sound.
I've also thought about pre-recording.
Mhm.
That works
Which would
too.
be interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be interesting for sure.
Like the whole thing could be like segmented, and
Mhm.
this chat just kind of watches along. But I don't know, the interaction part needs to really be there. So some of it's live, some of it's not.
Yeah, exactly. And so it would be interesting to see. I think you could do the pre-recorded for like if you wanted to do the little interim parts,
Right.
but the rest of it has to be live. You need to have that interaction with chat because that's what we're streaming for. We're streaming for interacting with chat.
So yeah, Kyo asked me that. She's like, "Why are you ending your show?" And I could hear like the sadness in her voice, and it's
Mhm.
like,
Mhm.
I have ideas. Like, it's not like I'm just gonna just stop doing what I'm doing. It's
Yeah.
just I've done 20 of these.
Mhm.
I've met a lot of cool people, heard a lot of cool stories, and I got the basis of like, all right, if I want to do this, it's in the cards. I know how to
Yeah.
do this.
Exactly. You've gotten your practice in for the bigger things that you want to do.
Right.
It makes sense.
But going forward, I want to make it. I want to, like I said, the first 2 or 3 episodes, I want them to be nuts, and then I could dial them down from there.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's always what it is. Even like just like I can compare it to like me being a PNG tuber versus finally debuting and stuff like that. Like I was a PNG tuber for so long, even though I had my model and everything like that, because I wanted it to be big. I wanted it like to be a big shift. Like I redid my entire stream layout and everything, and now I'm never going back to what it was. But the PNG was figuring things out. It was figuring out how to be a streamer, how to be entertaining without relying on fancy visuals, without relying on a nice model and everything like that. It was just me sitting there talking to people and it would and that's it. Just a chat on the screen. Like it was a trial run essentially. Kind of like that's why I can make an analogy for.
Um, so I guess we could do closing. When are you streaming next?
I don't know when I'm streaming next. I never know. I never have a schedule because I never know what my work day is like. Because I work a full time job outside of streaming, and so it's like I never know if sometimes my work day is like very exhausting and I can't stream afterwards. Sometimes I can work from home and then I'm streaming in the middle of the day instead of while checking my emails. Like so, I never have a set schedule, but I always let people know when
it,
I'm streaming.
it's completely fine to be like that because it makes them a little bit more special for people to catch,
Yeah,
but can't grow unless you're streaming.
exactly. That's the main thing. The people are always just like, right, you realize you have to stream, right? If you
Right.
want to like have viewers, and I'm just like, I don't. So the issue is that like I never wanted to be like a big VTuber. I never wanted to grow. So it's
Right.
like I'm not too pressed, but I definitely take that too far and then just kind of disappear for too long.
The double-edged sword that we all play
Yeah,
with, because I
exactly.
didn't stream all weekend up until today. I
Yeah.
think I streamed Thursday morning was my last
Hmm.
one, and I'm just trying not to blow through Final Fantasy 16, which is why I'm not streaming. I've just been playing
Yeah.
Fortnite like by
Yeah.
myself for
Yeah.
the past 2 days.
Exactly. Yep. I've been playing League by like just offline for hours at a time, nonstop, because the season is ending this week. And I was just like, I'm sorry, guys. I'm not streaming because I'm just playing League of Legends. I'm going to be brutally honest with you. Like, I have no excuses.
I'm currently looking at raid options.
Hmm.
Um, so somebody that I really like is streaming, but they're pretty popular.
Hmm.
Then there's a Plant Girl, Antarctic Doggo, um, Psy VTuber who I've heard shaved his balls on stream.
Yeah, he waxed him.
Waxed
He
him.
straight up had the wax strips and everything like that. He's hilarious. He's
And,
one of my siblings too.
and somebody I know from a different chat, Philcifer. Those are my options. Those are my options right now. Like we could go to the big one, and they're playing Mega Man 5.
Oh, interesting.
Or
that's fucking classic.
or one of those other ones, unless you have a person that we could raid.
I don't have anyone that you haven't already listed at this point. So.
All right. Well, the Plant Girl is doing a 1-900-NEP talk where you just kind of call in to her.
Oh, interesting.
She's Canadian. She's all about Earth, and she's very down to earth. And Philcifer is playing the Outlast Trials, which looks cool. It's Outlast but multiplayer.
Yeah. Well, and what does chat want to go off to?
You'll leave it up to chat.
I mean, they're the ones that are inevitably watching, I guess.
What are you guys feeling? And thank you everyone who attended. This is kind of like a cool little send off for this, because like I'm doing my 1 year. Let's see what the calendar date is for it. Even though I started on August 5th, I don't think it's gonna fall on. Oh, it is gonna fall on August 5th. So it'll be exactly 1 year, the Saturday next month, which is kind of awesome. What did I say? So
who do you want to watch?
Yeah, popular streamer playing Mega Man 5. Plant Girl who's doing just chatting with like a phone in thing. Antarctic Doggo who's playing Pokemon Crystal. Philcifer's playing Outlast Trials, or Psy is playing Death's Door. Because I don't mind throwing us towards the popular one. She's on my Mount Rushmore streamers. Like, my Mount Rushmore is all women.
That's so funny.
It's Savvy Senpai, which is not even Savvy Senpai anymore. She's just Savvy. Tob. Olivia Monroe, who is the one I'm talking about. And Shirahiko.
Yeah. Olivia Monroe used to be a sibling of mine.
Yeah?
Yeah, so she's pretty great.
I did that parody "We Didn't Stop the Fire" song, and I lucked out because Marilyn Monroe is a lyric of the song, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be really easy to rewrite.
That's really funny. That's hilarious, actually.
I lucked out then. No, we'll go at Outlast because I rather raid the smaller streamer.
Oh yes, that sounds fun.
Let's see here. I gotta open a browser. Is this gonna open up on your side or mine? It's gonna open up on yours. Okay.
And also, yes, Kione, a lot of VTubers can be a sibling of mine. We have like 800.
But Rye, I appreciate you being on.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This is a lot of fun. And it's just nice to just talk.
That's what these things are. It's like sometimes you might be grounded to something on a stream where you don't get to say the things that you would like to say, and this is the time to do it.
Yeah.
But I want to make sure I'm spelling their name right, because that's I've done that before. Sent somebody to somewhere because I didn't spell their name right.
That's so funny.
That seems right. I used to have like a whole closing thing, but I don't even do that anymore. Like stream ending and stuff like that. I had to redo my whole OBS, and I'm like, I'm not even doing that. I'm just gonna I'm just gonna like close it however I want. And people will just have to put up with that. Maybe when I become bigger and have money for art, I'll do something different. But
Yeah, exactly.
um,
Yes.
if you there's actually a couple. There's this one. There's this one. Or you can make your own.
Oh gosh, I hate how
What I have.
how hard it is to copy paste things sometimes.
There you go. I might even have another one, but I'm not sure. I actually never do raid messages. I'm not. I'm not. I don't know. I don't have the quirks of some
Mhm.
streamers.
It's fine. Like it's very easy just to have a set raid message. Just be like, all right, let's go in. But
But everybody enjoy the rest of their day, whatever time zone you're in. If it's Monday or Sunday still. But
yeah, bye bye everyone.
bye.